Welcome to Astro Rahu Channel English. I'm your host Vishal Sathye. Today we are going to discuss for the Leo Ascendant what happens when Venus comes in the third house in his own sign Libra. Now this is an excellent position because here Venus is in the third house in his Mool Trikon sign, and considering the ascendant, it is a Leo ascendant, so there are a lot of common traits in the Sun and Venus which make this placement very favorable and very typical, because Sun, the Leo ascendant, many a times he has that creativeness in him, because Sun represents that. He has that creativity to perform, and here the Venus being in the third house in Libra in his own sign, this increases the creativity. So we can say it adds ghee to the fire, or adds oil to the fire, adds fuel to the fire. While saying that, this is a very typical placement, I tell you, and there are some typical problems also which are associated with this placement, because what I have seen from several consultations is that the one problem with this placement is that the third house is very malefic, and Venus is a soft planet. So whenever a soft planet like Moon, Venus comes in the third house, and if he is alone, if he doesn't have a conjunction with any malefic, or if he is not aspected by a malefic in order to provide support, then what happens here is that the third house makes him work very hard, and results don't follow very smoothly, and he will keep on working, but without solid results, without quick gains. So Venus here is frustrated. Many a times I have seen this from several consultations. Venus here being alone, even if he is the lord of the third house, who is placed in the third house, still he suffers. But again, a very typical placement over here I also have seen many a times is the conjunction of Rahu with Venus, and if that is there, then this placement becomes very excellent, because then Rahu amplifies the qualities of Venus, and he provides that shortcut from the problems which are generated by the third house. And also in this placement I have seen, if especially Saturn, if it is not well placed, and if especially it is placed in the fifth house, then also there are several delays in the success of the individual, because what happens here is, for the Leo ascendant, Saturn being the lord of the sixth house is placed in the fifth house, and he keeps on bringing in those delays, and whatever the person does, there are delays, there are difficulties, and the person has to keep on putting in effort. And even though Venus here, the third lord, is in the third house, the individual will not get success quickly. But this placement also has many benefits of its own, very logical benefits we'll discuss, such as because the third house signifies smaller siblings, so the relationship with the younger siblings is excellent. And because the third house also represents relatives, so relationship with relatives is also very nice, very positive. And because third house also represents traveling, so the person is very fond of traveling. And you can see this person especially traveling a lot, short distances. And such a person is very bubbly, very cheery, because the third house has that effect of Gemini. And so he's a very good companion, a very good partner. But while I say so, there are also some problems in this placement, because what happens here is the third house has the Gemini energy. And whenever a soft planet is placed in the third house, Moon or Venus, and especially Venus being over here, I have also seen such person becoming a bit flirtatious at times. So this is also possible. You have to see the whole chart, but this is also, I've seen this from several cases, several consultations of mine. And a very typical feature of this placement, I'm sharing my research with you. Listen very carefully. What happens here is Venus here is also the 10th lord, and the 10th house represents the image of the person, how it is in the society. And because the 10th lord is placed in the third house, and it is Venus, and Venus here being in his own sign, so I have many a times I have seen that this person, male or female, many a times is not his average looking. Though he is average looking, he might have very average looks, but there is a very excellent X factor in him. This is always so with this placement. And there are instances where people will say that oh, he or she who has this placement is so beautiful, is so handsome. But actually there is nothing like that with the individual having average looks, but they are somehow compelled to say so, because this person, this individual has such a great X factor. Unknown X factor is seen from this placement. This I have seen from many consultations of mine. I'm sharing this experience of mine. And because as I said earlier, mentioned earlier, that here the 10th lord is placed in the third house, so the career can be related to marketing, related to selling, and definitely whatever career is there, it has to do something with communication. So the person has to communicate and be creative in order to do whatever he is doing in his career. This is definitely so. And this is a very creative placement as well, because the third house is the original house of creativity, and Venus, the significator of creativity, being placed here in Libra, in his own sign, in the third house, makes the person extremely creative. And if Rahu is along with him, then this is, the creativity is like huge. And then this placement, if Rahu conjunction is there, it might signify that this person has a very high chances of becoming some kind of a celebrity. And this person is very good at communication, and he knows exactly, he has the knack. He knows exactly what it takes to impress others. So his choice of words is also very nice, and his manner of speaking is very soft, polite, and in a way which will impress others. And because here the 10th lord is in the third house, and the 10th house, as I mentioned earlier, signifies the image of the individual, how it is in the society. So the image is many a times that this person is very good looking or very presentable. So this guy will have the knack, will know exactly how to dress up in order to present himself in a very attractive manner in the society. So the how he dresses, it would be, the dressing sense would be excellent over here. And because the third house represents multifacetedness, so it might be also the case that this person is pursuing more than one careers simultaneously, because the third house has that Gemini energy which is multifaceted. So this is also possible. Multiple careers, simultaneous careers are also possible with this placement. And this placement also represents very good and amicable relationship with the co-workers, or with the office staff, or with the subordinates, because again the 10th lord Venus being placed in his own sign, this makes this happen. He is very polite and has a lot of amicable relationship with his co-workers. And we can also see with this placement that in the office there might be a lot of office staff which is female. This is also possible with this placement, because Venus has this feminine energy in it, and the 10th lord Venus being situated in Libra in the third house in its own sign. Many a times I've seen this, that the office staff has a lot of females. This is also possible. And a very important thing about this placement, this is a very important point, I'm sharing my experience with you, listen carefully, is many a times that the person many a times rises in his career or establishes his career by his own self-effort. This also I have seen, because the 10th lord, the career, is situated in the third house from which self-effort is seen. So this person also might be a self-made man. This is also many a times with this case, with this placement. So this was my analysis on this placement, Venus being in Libra in the third house for the Leo Ascendant. If you like this episode, don't forget to press the like button, and please share this video. This is very important for me. So until the next episode, this is Vishal Sathye signing off for now. Bye.